Goodbye, USA. The fact that I have actually left the United States to live in Eastern Europe proves a lot. That the fundamental United States culture of liberty, rugged individualism, and European heritage has been replaced with something so diametrically opposite and abhorrent that I literally cannot bear its toxicity any longer. I am now a refugee. The United States culture is now rigid collectivism, textbook totalitarianism enforcing the opposite of the individual. It roots in the preservation of a mutant commune in which the most important and psychotically obsessive value is the championing of racial minorities, utterly regardless of topics or circumstances. Because I am healthy, meaning a mind individual that thinks for itself and believes in truth and liberty above all, I simply cannot endure this grotesque, deeply ignorant, and deeply frightened groupthink, where everything, both major and minute, is utter lies to reinforce the groupthink, and voicing any salient truth is responded to with rabid social and professional persecution. Most relevantly, one is no longer allowed to admit his most basic desire to live amongst his own race. This is truly startling. The indigenous United States white race is no longer allowed to voice its maximally natural and moral desire to live amongst mostly white people and the organic cultural expression of this people. This desire has been subverted by evil. The sickening cultural Marxist intellectual virus has terrorized the population into believing that morality is 180 degrees opposite its self-evident meaning, that biological altruism is not natural, not to be embraced, but wrong and immoral, that it is actually correct to cede your indigenous culture, that it is correct to support astoundingly false historical narratives reinforced by the most perverted representation of history, that deem your culture a culture of outstanding compassion, deem it instead immoral, shameful, not worthy of respect and endurance, so that its ethical destiny is to be condemned and resoundingly obliterated. What a horrific sickness this is. It would be unbelievable if it weren't true. I must repeat, it would be unbelievable if it weren't true. The U.S. citizens cower in silence as their statues to our founding forefathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Francis Scott Key, are desecrated and removed. Christopher Columbus, whose bravery and passion compelled his voyage into an endless ocean, which allowed him to discover a new world, which resulted in the founding of the most compassionate and philosophically advanced nation humanity has ever produced. This man, Christopher Columbus, who we have rightly honored with a national holiday, is now castigated as a monster. Our history, replete with bravery and heroism, defiant against foreign rule in 1776, undaunted in 1812, resolute in inspiration to expand to the Pacific Ocean, passionate to engage in civil war, and compassionate enough to shed blood in 2 world wars. A people that have given away trillions upon trillions of dollars to nations that give us no thanks in return. A people that have bent over backwards again and again and again to minority races, especially the black race, in the attempt to placate and to maintain a moral and loving society. All this and so much more has been conquered by a pure evil, a sickening commune ideology that can only thrive if the soul of the United States is decimated, and thus it has been decimated. I must attest, it has been so terrible to possess my superior intelligence that compels me to see clearly this destruction, yet be unable to communicate it to the innocent brainwashed masses. These concepts concocted at the center of hell, diversity, equality, white supremacy, social justice, they are the most horrific, utter lies. No sane person embraces diversity of ethnicity. They compassionately tolerate it while keeping it to a minimum. Equality of outcome is direct theft and the destroyer of all productivity and inspiration. It is not white supremacy to value your racial majority and culture. It is not social justice to arbitrarily label things as what everyone must support and dare not be against. I could have never imagined such diabolical concepts, yet they are the dogma of this new United States. And it should be stated that the main engine of this evil is the mainstream media outlets such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, Huffington Post, The Atlantic, and countless more. These journalists that dedicate their lives to the daily laceration of the soft, hopeful minds of the United States citizenry through maintaining false narratives, through censorship and outright lies, are literally the most spiritually grotesque humans on earth, worse than child molesters, rapists, or murderers. In a perfect world, they would receive the severest punishment. Everything has been destroyed. Our history, our religion, our language, our schools, our family unit, our literature, our awards, our TV and movie media. Everything reflects not the highest excellence from talent and inspiration of individuals, but a terrified or zombified reinforcement of the sickening commune political groupthink. That our destiny is to achieve a utopia without borders or biological preferences. And thus everything, literally everything, must reinforce the utter lie of organic racial social parity. This communist United States environment is so sickening that I have not the ability to put it into words. This new United States is the true definition of hell. So then, I literally could no longer tolerate living in such poison. I have left to my ethnic homeland of Slovakia, and I truly never want to return to this mutant commune United States. I have retreated to a land where people are still sane. These people are not obsessed with hellish utopia transformation. They are interested in what is natural, their days, their joys and sorrows, their romance and families, their sports and professions. No intellectual viruses have stripped them of their most basic wisdoms. They appreciate the value of their culture, their language, their customs and rituals, and most importantly, so very most importantly, the preservation of their racial identity. For it is obvious to the sane society that biologically they are inextricably and joyously part of a race of people that recognizes itself and its unique expression in all that it produces, from the cuisine to the architecture to the literature to the technology to the art. And thus a sane people would sacrifice everything before they would cede their most sacred defining wisdom, the historical, natural expression that marinates them, guides them, their culture. Z Bohom navždy.